All right. Well, Kufar Akbar, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Crossing the Crescent discussion group. This is a once a week live stream show on YouTube. We are here every Monday afternoon at 5:30 Central Standard Time, broadcasting from Dar al Har Kafiristan in the cavernous depths of the Kafir Cave. And I am kind of discombobulated here. People who are posting in chat. Are you posting in chat from Facebook? Because I have Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube, and I'm not seeing that we're live on YouTube. Can anybody see that?
Well, I know we're not live on Rumble.
Well, we're still waiting, from what I could see.
Yeah, same here. This is exactly what happened last week too. It looks like we were able to chat on YouTube, but the live didn't go on until after we ended the stream. Like you
refresh your screens, people, because I can see it live on YouTube. On the YouTube, yeah.
Live on YouTube.
Refresh it, yeah.
No.
No, I can't either.
I can see it.
That's weird.
You're on the YouTube link, Red, and you say you can see it live.
Yeah, here, I'll share a screenshot.
It isn't that I don't believe you. I'm looking at mine, and this is embarrassing.
It's always something.
I know. Well, no, this is the second week in a row that I've gotten this wrong. And I could put it on Skype. Is it? No, that's Nick.
Okay, it's on.
It's on?
We're live on YouTube.
Okay.
Good night. Well, I'm still showing nothing. And that's my YouTube channel.
Here, let me give you the link.
All the way out.
Okay, well, it says it's okay. It says lag down here. All right. Well, I'm just going to take your word for it. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming.
Go to that link.
What?
See if it's different.
Well,
I'll send you the link in Skype. Just go to it. See if it's different.
Well, I believe it's there. But what about Rumble? Are we live on Rumble?
No, Rumble's dead. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right, Rad. We need to figure this.
All right. I'm pretty sure I know what you did. You put in the URL, not the RTMP.
I put it on.
Look at my screen.
Okay. Yep. That's we're. I don't know. I don't know what four Mormon. What is that?
Four Mormons.
Four Mormons. Oh. Well, you misspelled Mormons.
Did I spell it? I can't see too well. I'm a friend of Nicodemus.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm a Christian, and I live in just north of Utah. I witness to Mormons. So.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Well, you sounded like Paul Sutcliffe. Does he sound like Paul, you guys? Or am I imagining?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was Paul. I was like, Paul. I was going to get. I mean, you're an educator, Paul. You can't spell What's wrong with you?
It's four because people like me, they call anti-Mormon, and so I chose four. I'm not against you as the person. I'm for you. I'm against your religion, but I want to see you come to Christ. So that's why I used it.
Okay. Do you evangelize the Mormons then, or?
I have been street preaching in the past. I do a lot of evangelizing. I've witnessed to many missionaries. I've spoken with their bishops, stake leaders. I've attended their church services. My whole mission is to that. The area that I live is 97% Mormon. And 15 minutes away from me, there's Brigham Young University, Idaho. They're putting up a second temple there, and I'm really itching for it to be built because this can be an excellent place to witness. Just my health right now isn't at its greatest, so I've been having some health issues. But no, I do that daily. It's been my mission for quite a long time, and it's amazing seeing them come to Christ. I really enjoy it.
Mormons are, I don't mean to be so crass, but they're kind of a tough nut to crack.
Very, very. They are. They're a very close community. But I tell you what, when you see one come to Christ, they're incredible because they're like, when Paul was writing in Romans about the Jews, how, they have this love for God but a lack of knowledge. The Mormons are kind of like that in a sense. When they finally meet the real Savior, the real Jesus Christ, they just turn out really powerful and are incredible witnesses.
Well, I used to say that about Muslims. Muslims make great evangelists to Muslims once they become Christian. So
Yeah.
and unfortunately, well, I don't want to say fortunately, unfortunately, but fortunately, that's really not true with Christians, because when you see Christians convert to Islam, they end up sounding like idiots. Who's that one?
Well, when they convert to Islam, they are idiots. No offense, but
You have to have a couple dead brain cells. But who's the older guy? It's Yusuf or something like that. Can you guys help me out with that? Do you guys remember this guy's name? He's the one that says that the Roman Catholic Church was invented by Alexander the Great or something like that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
No, I see it.
It's not Yusuf Evans. Yusuf Evans is the younger guy. Used to be a youth pastor, or he says he was a youth pastor. I don't know what.
Who are you looking for?
Who?
I've heard that theory go around. I can't remember the name. Some guy over in Great Britain or something like that saying that Islam was started in Christianity somehow. I don't buy it, but
but I can't remember what this old codger's name is. But he said he used to be a church leader. Now I don't know if that means, and I'm not trying to take anything away from ushers or leaders or something like that. But I mean, if that's the only thing that you did, then why? What?
Are you talking about an old guy?
Yeah, an older guy.
With a beard, looks like Santa Claus.
Sorta, yeah.
Yeah, he's from Texas. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, not Yusuf as it's something Yusuf though.
Yeah. I can see him as clear as day in my. But anyway, when you see Christian, and this is who they put out there when they talk about Christians converting to Islam. This is who they put up. They say this guy right here, and you're thinking, well, this guy's a blithering idiot. I mean, you can do a lot better than this. And then you get this Yusuf Evans guy who was a youth pastor. And if you are a pastor of any sort and you convert to Islam, you do not know your faith. You do not know your faith at all, and you are definitely not equipped to be an apologist or be in that pastor role.
Amen.
And the reason why is that there are so many lies told by Muslims to try to convince Christians that Christ was a Muslim and that the Bible has been corrupted and all this nonsense that they throw out there. You either need to go back to seminary and work on your knowledge, or just keep your mouth shut, because people are going to look at you as an idiot to begin with, just like this Yusuf Evans guy or whoever this other clown was that we were talking about. Okay, we're way off topic, which is okay.
Yusuf Estes. Okay, the other guy, Yusuf Evans, is the young guy. The old guy is Yusuf Estes. That's what it is.
Yusuf Estes. Is that what you said, Brad? What is he? You go mute on us now, Brad?
Yes, Yusuf Estes. That's what I said.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Anyway, I'm sorry to bombard. I was talking to Nico in a Skype, and he said he was streaming. I thought this was his channel, so I'm sorry to intrude, sir. I'll leave you guys alone. I don't.
No, you're more than welcome to stay. We got Nico stays, and Nico. Did Nico tell you what he did? He ate like a bad can of tuna or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he did. He told me about that, and so I don't know. I'm going to talk to my daughter, see if we can get him some food this Christmas.
Yeah, get him. And make sure that if you go over to where he lives, go into his cabinet and pull out all those cans and take a Sharpie and put it on there so he looks at it and he's like, I shouldn't eat this.
I'm on it. Yeah.
I'm just going to make sure it's only a year expired instead of a decade. So, I'll try to keep it closer.
I was going to say, if you're sending me fruitcake, check the date.
Hey, those things last forever.
I feel terrible because when my kids were younger, every morning you'd get up and you'd take the cereal, and the cereal could be open for, it could have been made when the Pilgrims landed here, and it'd still be good. And I was pouring them cereal one morning, and I took the cereal and you put a little sugar on it, put the milk in there, and I even sliced up a banana and put it on there. And my daughter goes, "This tastes funny." And I said, "Shut up and eat it. It's fine." Well, then I got to looking at the milk, and the milk had been expired for 3 days. And they both ate that cereal. And I felt
yogurt.
I felt about that big, and I smelled the milk, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, why didn't you say something?" It's like, "We did, Dad. And this is why we got food poisoning, and we're probably going to do that." I felt terrible. Okay, let's go ahead and get to today's topic. Today's topic was chosen by the radical moderate, so I'm going to let him do most of the talking tonight. But let's just suffice to say that I can give you a little bit of background on Syria. That's the topic tonight, because I think I'm the only one in this stream that has been to Syria before. That's right. In 2003, I set one foot in the country of Syria, along the Iraq border. We were out there in a place, what was the name of that place? It's called Sinjar, but we had gone further west than Sinjar because they were running, of all things, they were exporting oil trucks, because they had an embargo on Iraq at the time. And they were running oil trucks across the Syrian border, selling it on the black market to make money. And so we were up there, and we had, shutting that hot mess down so they wouldn't have money for the black market. But anyway, I got to set one foot in Syria, and I didn't want to put both feet because then they could probably come hunt you down. But and it's just as bleak as the news portrays it at. It's just a desolate place. But this week, the rebels, quote unquote, have overrun major cities in Syria, to include, I think it was yesterday, they took Damascus. And the president, not the prime minister, because I saw him march the prime minister out of the prime minister's hall or whatever, that maybe it was the parliament or whatever. And you can about imagine what they're going to do to that poor guy. But the president, Bashar al-Assad, who is in the 24th year of his 4-year term as president, decided that he needed to get on a jet and go to Moscow. And the reason for him going to Moscow is because Russia could no longer support him as president. He's lost the backing of Iran for all kinds of obvious reasons. A lot of the troops that supported him were with Hezbollah. And Hezbollah, if you haven't noticed, as of late, they're afraid to even look at their pagers. They don't even carry pagers. I don't know how they're communicating. It's not funny. But I don't know how they're
pagers, cell phones, walkie-talkies, car stereos, TVs, and pretty much all electronic devices all went boom for a brief period.
The joke I make is these guys are even afraid to turn their toasters on. I wouldn't be monkeying with it. It's not funny.
I would seriously hate to be the Hezbollah procurement agent.
Oh my God! Yeah, that'd be bad. But the Hezbollah I didn't realize this, so I started doing a little reading on it. Hezbollah provided al-Assad all kinds of security at the behest, of course, of Iran, and which is kind of surprising because Iran is Shia and Hezbollah is Shia, but al-Assad is what they call an Alawite, if I'm not mistaken. And that is not, it's like your liberal strain, your evangelical strain of the Christian faith. It's not,
actually,
go ahead.
It would be more like the Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay.
These are complete and total heretics. They drink booze, they dance, they're seriously, dude. As a matter of fact, the Shias even rejected them up until just recently, and then they were accepted into Islam. And of course, just like the Ahmadiyans, they cannot go on Hajj. No, they are pretty much despised, and up until recently, they were despised by the Shia as well. And then you got the Druze, which is another offshoot. Okay, right. That's even more wackier. But the Druze are actually fairly peaceful people. They just want to be left alone. You know what I mean? No, they really are. Okay. But yeah, you also got, then you got, of course, Christians. You got the Kurds, who we should support fully. That is the only group we should fully support in that region, are the Kurds. Wow. But they are loyal to us. No matter, we betray them left and right, day in, day night, but they are still loyal to us. You know what I mean?
I do. I have a funny Kurd story, if you would let me. When we were in Iraq in 2003, we had gone up to a town called The Hook, and then convoyed out to a small camp. This is up in northern Iraq, to a Kurdish village, and the Kurdish village had the command structure, the commanders for the Kurds there, and the brigade commander that I was with, and the sergeant major, and they took me everywhere for security reasons. And we had this big feast, and then we were going to be taken up to this place where they had this hospital during the time that Saddam was there. It was this beautiful cave. It was like it was a huge cave and had waterfalls in it. It was just a beautiful place. And when we got into the car, of course, they let me sit in there. They think I'm important. Honest to God, I don't know why, but the driver of the car was a full bird colonel in the Kurdish army, and I'm just riding shotgun is all I am. I'm the guy with the M4, and I'm there for security, but the brigade commander and sergeant major went in a different car. So I get in there, and then the interpreter sitting in the back, along with the son of the colonel. The son is probably 8 years old. If he was 9 years old, that would be pushing it. I'm guessing he was 8, maybe even 7. And this kid is carrying an MP5, literally has an MP5 submachine gun. And I'm thinking, okay, so what does this kid know about how to use it? Is this gun unsafe? And so the whole time this kid's sitting behind me, I'm waiting for this thing to go off because he's got his finger on his trigger or whatever. And by the time we got to the place we were going, I was just sweating bullets because that kid. So luckily, when we left and got back in the car, the kid sat behind his dad instead of me. But that is my funny Kurd story. And the interpreter wanted me to convert to. He asked, he goes, "Are you a Muslim?" I said, "No, I'm not a Muslim. I'm a Christian." He goes, "Oh, why are you a Christian?" I said, "Well, because I believe in Jesus Christ, whatever God." I go, "Oh, you should be a Muslim. You get 4 wives that way." Like that's a selling point. But knowing what I know about Islam now and didn't know then, that makes all the sense in the world because that's all those guys think about.
Yeah. Okay. I would add to that in the U.S. stateside. I worked for a Muslim Albanian who did the same thing. He used to harass me about being Christian and said, "You need to become Muslim. Marry a Muslim woman." That's all they talk about. That's all they got in their mind. Yeah.
And it's just sex. That's all it's about. And and you read it in the Hadith, you read it in the Quran. Anyway. All right, back to Syria. All right, so all of these, there is no one rebel force that has taken control of the country of Syria. There's a bunch of them all at the same time. And the problem with the Syrian army was that, number one, they're not well paid, they're not well trained, and there's just a mishmash of factions put together to defend the country. Well, as soon as they started getting rolled up in the eastern part of the country, the writing was pretty much on the wall. And when your president gets on a plane and flies north to Moscow, that's problematic. So the entire country's fallen. So the question then is going to become, what's going to happen to Syria? And Rad sent me a clip. Let me see if I got this, of what they're doing to prisoners on X today. Did you not, Rad?
I sent you a couple of clips. One clip is they're emptying. Well, they emptied out the main prison in Damascus. Or actually, they're still trying to empty out because I guess there's levels of levels of levels. And all the guards fled, and they took all the codes and keys with them, so they got to blast through the doors to get to it. But they're emptying out the prisons, but those prisons are going to be quickly filled up with Christians, Druze, Alawites, pretty much Shia, definitely Shia, and any Sunni Islam, any Sunni Muslim that does not agree with HRTs specific. I think they're called HRT. HTR, whatever. But whatever flavor of Islam they practice.
Okay, let's take a look at what happened here. Share screen. What am I doing wrong here? Give me a second here. What is going on? I see what I got. I got to play it over here. Here we go. All right. And let me tell me if you let me turn the.
So those are reportedly Christians that have been rounded up. Either way, they're dissidents. They're some of the current now I think what are they, HRT or HTR? I can't remember the group, huh?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, either way, Hezbollah or has something. I don't know what it is. Wish Isa was here.
يلا عوي 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 حي الله الشيخ ابو حاتم طلي طلي قاقي قاقي مثل الدجاجه قاقي 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 قاقي.
Yeah, things are going well. Things are up to a great start.
Did you hear that? Could you hear what he was saying?
Play it again. I wasn't listening. I don't speak gibberish, but go ahead.
يلا عوي 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 حي الله الشيخ.
Alawiyah. No, they're not Christians. They're Alawiyah. Yeah, they're Alawiyah. As I said, they're Alawites. Yeah, so either way, yeah, that's what they're saying.
Last week we were having problems with the volume. We couldn't hear it last week.
I could hear it.
Last week when I was trying to show clips from X, they wouldn't play it. So that was problematic.
Anyway, either way, I think they were saying they were Alawites. Or they may be Christians. I don't know, but either way, things are off to a great start there in Syria. But here's the thing. So I want to talk about. Okay, well, go ahead, play the video. What video is this?
Well, what's the Nico's showing this? What is this, Nico?
That looks like AI generated. To be honest with you, that's AI generated.
Well, let me just go ahead and make a comment on what we just saw there. That is so reminiscent of what we saw with ISIS in Iraq when they rolled up there. They would go in and they would identify all of the army soldiers, the commanders, and their families, and go to their house. I remember watching these clips, and it was just, it was almost terrifying to watch these guys. They go in and they would kill them. I mean, this is something that we had not been used to seeing, where they go into one commander's house one night, they knock on the door, he opens the door, they walk in, and then eventually they get to the point where they jump on the guy's back. He's just being very cool and collective about the whole thing. And then the guy jumps on his back, and then they hack his head off right there in his own house. Or they're driving down the highway and they've identified soldiers who are fleeing and they shoot up their cars. The guys drive off the side of the road, get out of the car, try running away, and they're gunning them down. And then prisoners, they take prisoners and they line them up and they shoot them and they dump them in the Euphrates rivers. This is the same thing that's going to happen in Syria. This you mark my word. This same type of religious fanaticism that we see in Afghanistan, that we saw in Iraq with ISIS. These jokers are the same, are cut from the same cloth, and we're going to see it again. And Israel. Go ahead, Red.
Well, yeah, they are cut from the same cloth because the dude was a leader in ISIS. And he actually also formed Al Qaeda in Syria. The leader of the leader of this group is serious, full-blown terrorist. As a matter of fact, the United States government has a $10 million bounty on his head. His group is considered a terrorist organization. And our illustrious still leader, pretending to be president, is wandering around the White House talking about how they're going to remove the terrorist designation and remove the bounty from this whack job's head. No,
whoa. Okay, so the guy is on the terrorist watch list. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, here, let me read you his resume, his CV, as they call it. Okay, who is Abu Muhammad al-Jolani? Okay, so who is Jolani, and what does he want? As a Syrian foreign fighter in his early 20s, Jolani crossed into Iraq to fight the Americans when they invaded the country.
He's in his early what again?
He crossed into Iraq.
No, wait, how old is he? How old is he?
He's in his 30s now, but
30s,
this is in his 20s.
That's
Yeah, he's 30s, late 30s, early 40s. Okay, but in his early 20s, in 2003, he was fighting you, Eric. Okay, in Iraq. Okay, all right. It landed him in the prison on Camp Bucca, which became a key recruiting group for terrorist groups, including what would become ISIS. He was freed from Camp Bucca. Jolani crossed back into Syria and started fighting against the Ba'athist Assad regime, doing so with the backing of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who would later become the founder of ISIS. In Syria, Jolani founded a militant group known as Jabhat al-Nusra, the Victory Front in English.
Jamaat al-Nusra? Did you say Jamaat al-Nusra?
Yeah, Jabhat. Yeah,
Jamaat al-Nusra? Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. This is according to CNN. Actually, I should share the screen so we can all read along with me.
I think there's a problem with his age, because if you look at the timeline here, we're talking closer to 20 years difference. So he would have to be in his 40s.
Yeah, he's in his 40s now. Yeah, he's in his 40s now. Wow.
Okay.
Hold on.
Well, I read years ago. I mean, that was the run up to that was 20. I'm sorry, folks. I don't know what the heck has happened to my feet, but my feet itch. I'm sorry. And it started yesterday. I went to watch the Titans lose yesterday, and I don't know if my socks that I had on, but they left a rash. But anyway, my feet are killing me. I'm sorry. Anyway, this guy could be. Yeah, the age lines up because if he's in his 40s now, you said 40s or 50s.
I thought he said 30s first.
So he was in his 20s in 2003. Okay, let's say he's 20 in 2003.
Okay, all right, yeah. So
he's 43. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah.
I noticed he doesn't have any gray in his beard now. He was on.
They diet. Come on, they are the most, what do you call it, vain people in the world. Anyway,
you got that henna thing going.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, hold on. Let me scroll up here. Let me read. That's definitely a 40-year-old man. That's definitely.
Yeah, that's
Remember, we're all older, so anybody a decade less than us looks like they're in their teens. Seriously, I've noticed that. Okay, like seriously, think about this, people. You older gents of my age, and you guys are older than me. Just saying, I'm the baby in the family here. But no, seriously, I've noticed this. Okay, if you are a decade younger than me, you look like you're in your teens to me, even though you could be 40 years old. You know what I mean? But that's definitely a 40-year-old man.
Why is that, Red?
What's that?
Why is that?
Because we're older. You know what I mean? And we go from a perspective. You know what I mean? It's just kind of funny. Anyway,
age is just a number.
Yeah, right. So that's what Muhammad said about Aisha.
Okay, I'm going to be. Shut up. That could
Anyway, let's continue on here. Okay. So as a result, Johnny's on the fact. Okay. So who's okay? Israeli 20s across the internet. Eventually landed. Okay. Okay. We did this in Syria. Jolani founded the militant group Jabhat al-Nusra, the Victory Front in English, which pledged allegiance to Al Qaeda. But in 2016, Jolani broke away from the terror group, according to U.S. Center for Naval Analysis. U.S. Why? What?
So there was several breakaways at that point. So there was a lot of breaks away from that during that time period. So we're talking about after the creation of ISIS, under Obama's financing of it, the creation of it. He trained ISIS. He sent our military to train the Syrian rebels, which became ISIS.
Exactly.
So that is, I mean, that's actually documented by DW News. I've documented it previously. It's well known. So
that's just like, that's just like with the cartels. We train the cartels in the School of Americas. Okay, we train these Mexican police officers, okay, on how to do certain things operation-wise. And the cartels just said, look, you're being paid 20 cents an hour. We're going to pay you $100,000 a day. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So basically, the cartel is 100% U.S. trained, okay, soldiers. Okay, but that's beside the point. Anyway,
one of the reasons, just to point out now, in 2016, you're running into a few more things. Al Qaeda is basically being wiped out, so that's one of the reasons they would break out around that point, and they would not be in Trump's eyesight. Let's put it that way, because his guarantee was to wipe them out in 2016. That's pretty much close to what happened. You can't wipe out jihadis. You'll birth new ones all the time. So you just got to expect the new ones to be born from the mommies and daddies.
It's like whack-a-mole.
Yes, it's all it really is, unfortunately. And Eric's had that experience. It's not an experience I'd like to have in person, but that's pretty much it.
Well, either way,
I used to have access to that database. I don't have that anymore, so I can't comment on any of that.
Well, I got a question. Maybe Eric can answer this if he ever comes back. No, he's there. I'm sorry.
What the heck's wrong with you?
Okay. All right. I thought you disappeared on me. Okay. U.S. Center for Naval Analysis. What would they have to do with anything when it comes to inland intelligence of a terrorist organization?
That's easy. They have a huge control. They have a huge center on counterterrorism there. So that's the reasoning why. That's one of the reasons why I was.
The Navy has a lot of signals intelligence gathering capability around the globe. So that would be one of the main agencies, I guess. It'd be probably the same as Army intelligence, which is kind of an oxymoronic term, but it would probably be about the same.
That's what my dad used to say. If it comes from Army intelligence, forget about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, seriously. Well, this is to me, this is something. We have too many intelligence organizations. There should just be one. You know what I mean? This is something for Doge.
Well, this is
so centralized.
The idea of having a DNI, Director for National Intelligence, to bring them all together under the realm of Homeland Security after 9/11. And it's just like everything else. It turns into a huge bureaucracy. And
Exactly. Instead, put them all under one umbrella, not separate umbrellas.
It wasn't. The goal was to get them to use for their shared databases, and that was one of the main goals. And they still are not fully doing that. So that's the other issue.
That's government. Anyway, let's continue on though. So let's continue on. Okay, so since then, supposedly, he relinquished his pledge. So in 2016, Jolani broke away from the terror group, according to U.S. Central. Since then, unlike Al Qaeda, according to CNN, a trusted news organization. Al Qaeda, which promoted a whatever global holy war. Jolani's group, now known by the initials, it's HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, okay, which actually means that region, I guess, something like that, has undertaken the more prosaic.
Al-Sham is the right hand.
Yeah, okay. Prosaic job of trying to govern millions of people in northwestern Syria province of Idlib, providing basic services. ISIS did that. So did the Taliban. So did Al Qaeda. So did Hamas. So did Hezbollah. Okay, according to the terrorism scholar Al Zalam, who has written a book about HTS. Same old jihadist line and a new inclusive bottle. Okay, I actually agree with that.
It's interesting.
Bigger question mark.
As people who fear Islamic governance either stop. People who fear Islamic governance either have seen incorrect implementations of it or do not understand it properly. And I think that those people that fear Islamic governance are probably the same people who have seen or who have not yet seen what does this say, incorrect implementations, or don't understand communism properly. Communism's the same way. They're always implementing communism the wrong way, or people just don't understand what it truly is. And the same thing is with this Islamic governance. No matter where it is tried, it fails except on paper. And even on paper, Islamic governance is much scarier than what communism is, because we've actually seen what Islamic governance looks like in the last century, well, not just the last century, but the last 20 years. We've seen exactly, we don't need to be told what Islamic governance is and is not. We've seen it on TV every night. We see it on videos of people getting their heads sawed off. That's your Islamic governance.
So no, you're absolutely true. And this is the thing. The utopia is never established because those that are seeking the utopia create the dystopia because they do not understand it. Okay, they create the famines. Okay, they create the destruction. Okay, I mean seriously, like as you know, I study Marxism, especially neo-Marxism now. Okay, off and on. Okay, I actually join their live streams and their lectures and their training. And that is one thing they always say when it comes. No, they praise Lenin, they praise Stalin. Okay, they praise Mao, they praise even Pol Pot. Okay, and they praise all these communist Marxist leaders, these total failures. But when it comes to their failed policies and the death and destruction that happened, either they deny or minimize it, okay? Or they say, well, no, because it wasn't ready yet. They did not fully understand Marx's idea. They didn't fully implement it correctly. Or they didn't implement it because of the capitalist interference. You know what I mean? Okay, they always have an excuse where they have their idea and how it is to be implemented, even though it's no different than what Stalin, Lenin, Mao, okay, Pol Pot, okay, or Ho Chi Minh. Actually, Ho Chi Minh wasn't a communist. He's that's a funny guy. Anyway, well, kind of turning, no, not really. But anyway, point being is this, okay, all right? Again, they want this utopia. And every time the dystopia is created, they deny that that is the outcome. But let us continue on about this lovely person here. Okay. Now he's 42, also told CNN that he has matured since he was fighting the Americans in Iraq 2 decades ago. A person in their 20s will have different personality. Okay, no. Okay, you know what? Let's talk about this. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's say this guy really is, and he looks at it because he's an intelligent man, right? And let's say he looks at this and says, you know what? We shouldn't be fighting the Americans. We shouldn't be fighting the Jews. We shouldn't be going on global jihad. In other words, we should just govern our own people.
Well, Red, are you aware that that's what's currently happening in Afghanistan? The Muslims are very, very upset with the Taliban because they are no longer attacking the Americans and Russians and Chinese. They are talking to them. So you're finding a huge contingent of Muslims who are breaking away and now fighting against the Taliban because they're trying to act somewhat civilly.
That was going to be my point, Paul. Let's suppose he is like that. He will not survive long in power unless he has a strong backing of like-minded, extremely violent individuals who are willing to put down completely oppressively any challenge to his regime. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay? And this is the problem. Daniel Pipes has written about this for the past 2 decades. The only solution for the Middle East, when it other than Christianity, other than evangelizing them all, okay, is either you have a strong man, a total dictator, strong man, a benevolent dictator who is friendly to us, or you have a theocracy like you have in Iran or the Taliban. The Taliban are still theocracy, even though they're praying friendly to Biden, but that's just stupidity. But that's beside the point. Anyway, either way, there is no solution. Okay? There is no good outcome from any of this. Okay? This is going to seriously, okay, affect you now basically have the Caliphate 2.0.
Well, let's minimize what you have here, and let's hear what this guy has to say from his own mouth.
Oh, I was going to play it, but go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. This is what he has to say. Now, keep in mind before I play this thing, where did it go? Is that it? No, that wasn't it. Where did it go? What did I do with it? Here it is. Okay. This guy is an anti-Semitic pig, number one, which most jihadis are. And if you look at what Israel has done, Israel has moved into those forward operating bases that Syria had on its border to provide like a buffer between Syria and the Israelis, kind of Golan Heights type buffer that they wanted in Syria. Now that they don't have their forces there, the Israeli army has moved into Syria to man those checkpoints. Listen to what this clown has to say about the Jews. Now he's going to give you his big philosophy here, but listen to what he has to say. Pay specific attention to what he has to say about the Jews. Have you seen this clip, Brad?
No, I haven't seen that one. I was going to play his interview, but go ahead.
Okay, they're in the main mosque in Damascus.
ذليلين لله سبحانه وتعالى خاضعين له سبحانه وتعالى نقول أن من نصرنا هو الله وأن الله تعالى بقوته هو الذي نصرنا لا بقوتنا ولا بحولنا هنا عقر دار الإسلام.
The Levant, pay attention to that. Home of Islam in the Levant.
هنا الشام هنا عمر بن عبد العزيز هنا أرض الإسلام هنا دمشق هنا فسطاط المسلمين من هنا يا قدس من هنا.
Where? Al-Quds. Oh, Quds.
Now I find this interesting because this organization, the organizations we're hearing about, in this they're talking about Turkey. Erdogan came out and made a statement that if they had just, if Syrians had just let him, do the moderating, they would have been okay. This is humorous because Erdogan financed the ISIS groups in 2 ways. He provided weapons and he provided hospital medical attention, if soldiers needed medical assistance. So they could go to Turkey and get free medical aid, and they would be okay. The question is, how much is Turkey assisting this group? And because it's Syria, you also have to question how much is ISIS influencing. I mean,
Turkey is the main financier of this guy, from my understanding. That's my understanding. And one thing I would like to add is, look at this guy right here, and look at this guy right here. They both look like their combined IQ is 74. This is the type of people that they have to recruit to follow this clown. And I don't mean to say that, well, I do mean to say it jokingly, I guess. But a lot of these guys are just brain dead knuckleheads. And listen to this rhetoric as he goes on here. We're going to come help you people in Gaza. No, you're not.
تكبير الله أكبر لبيك لبيك يا أقصى لبيك 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 يا أقصى لبيك 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 يا أقصى
سائرون على طريق محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى طريق الصحابة رضوان الله تعالى عليهم 13 عاما ظنوا أن النور الذي انطلق من هنا من أول مظاهرة من هنا من المسجد الأموي عندما خرجت صيحات الله أكبر الله أكبر ظنوا أن النور.
Doesn't this remind you of one of those skits where people are like, Allah Akbar, they say, I'm sorry.
الذي انطلق من هنا من جامع بني أمية ظنوا أنه يخبو ولكن خسئوا وخابوا جاءوا بالميليشيات وجاءوا بروسيا ودعمتهم الدول ولكن قلنا هي لله صبرنا جلسنا تحت الخيام جلسنا بين الطين نمنا على التراب يقيننا بالله أننا منصورون وأن الله منجز وحده فدخلنا نطع دمشق وندخل المسجد الأموي مكبرين مهللين
Notice they're cutting the poor guy off. He's got something to say, but they're Allah Akbar and takbiring the poor guy. He's probably thinking, shut up! I want to.
وكذلك بإذن الله وكذلك المسجد الأقصى وكذلك مسجد محمد وكذلك.
Oh, they're going to go to Al-Aqsa and the Kaaba.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia is really concerned with this. No, really, they are. They're freaking out, dude. Remember, MBL. What I forgot his name. I think they call him MBL. Whatever. He's totally reforming Saudi Arabia. Okay, they now have. Oh my God! Shocking. Wait for it. You can actually go to the mall now, and there are women there, and they are not in the abaya. Shocking.
Well, it was
intermixing in the
probably a catalyst for the Abraham Accords. I would think that this would motivate them to hurry up and get their butts to the table. They're takbiring him, and he's got something to say, guys. Knock it off. Allah, those who give heads to prove you. What does that mean?
He's going to chop off heads. That's what he's saying.
Thank you. It's the same crap that ISIS did. Now, this guy's had his hand on his shoulder a little bit too long.
I'm looking. I'm like watching this guy. Actually, I was going to comment. I'm like, he looks like he's really bored. He's like, okay, I've had enough of the Allah Akbaring.
No,
I just have my virgins now.
This guy has been. I think this guy's spent too much time on the bong. I mean, look at his face. This guy's been.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's done with the Allah Akbaring. He just wants his sex slaves out. That's all he wants.
That might be it.
You know, he's done. Yeah. He's like, okay, get out of here. He's bored. He's totally bored. He's like,
The infidel.
Allah to the infidel. But, I mean, that's a stupid statement. Oh, Allah to the infidel people. Allah's the one who made us infidels, according to the Quran. So, I mean, why are you telling us about Allah when he's the one who's supposed to make us infidel?
This guy is this is again. This is like one of those skits that you would see. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna play it after I get done with this because it's this reminds me.
Python skit. I'm thinking.
It's not a Monty Python skit, but it is funny. You're gonna love it.
على القوم الكافرين والله أكبر لبيك
This is all. Okay, it is all scripted.
Yeah,
in many ways.
We all hate the infidels and love each other.
Well, first of all, to be fair, you got to give it to these guys. I mean, they did fight a long, hard fight, and they're now victorious. Like you said, we lived in the dirt. We suffered. We did this. We sacrificed all kinds of crap. And they did. So I got to give them their victory march, okay? They did. They entered triumphantly into the city. They are the conquerors. So I got to give them that.
And I'm betting they went and grabbed the first women they found and raped them.
Actually, I sent you another video on that, Eric, where we actually have scenes of that actually happening. But be that as it may, I mean, I can't fault them for celebrating their victory because it was a long, hard fight. They persevered, they suffered through, and they were victorious. But you know why they were victorious? It's funny. It was because of
they wanted
the
virgins.
No, it was because of the Jews. If it wasn't for the Jews,
okay, Jews are fault. Okay.
No. If it wasn't for Israel totally decimating Hezbollah and Hamas and even Iran, if it wasn't for the infidels, if it wasn't for us sending all this money to Ukraine to bog down Putin, the only reason they were able to win is because of the infidels, specifically the United States of America and the Jews. And by the way, latest reports is Israel and the U.S. are still hammering inside. We've taken out the remnants, the leftovers of the Syrian Navy. They're hammering still all the air bases. Anything that is related to the Syrian military.
Israel is doing this, you said that?
What's that?
Israel's doing this, you said?
U.S. and Israel. U.S.
U.S. Really?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
Must have a carrier group out in the Med.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the only thing that the rebels have going for them is they made a statement of swearing not to use the chemical weapons that they would find.
I think that's right. I saw that today because that's what they were hitting is to ensure that chemical weapons, biological weapons, or whatever al-Assad had would not fall into their hands, which is exactly the same type of crap that we did when we got to Iraq, is to shore all that stuff up and get it out of country as fast as we possibly could.
I thought the thing was a lot of those weapons, the reason we went into Iraq, went into Syria. So that's the other thing people have to remember. That's where they put those weapons that were in Iraq. They went to Syria.
Exactly.
And Iran. Iran.
You know that route that they were running that oil through, what I told you at the beginning of the show, where I put a foot in Syria? That's the exact route they were running those weapons out of the country on. I found that skit. Let me show you this skit. This is gonna warm your heart. It's very informative.
Stronghold of forces loyal to captured dictator Saddam Hussein.
Can you guys hear that?
Yep.
Yes.
The city of Tikrit, here in northern Iraq, is now firmly under the control of American forces. Or is it? These members of the Iraqi resistance movement, still loyal to Saddam Hussein, think otherwise.
The Americans tell lies. Each day our forces grow stronger. Each day we move closer to our goal of driving the infidel... What are they?
Nothing, carry on.
Driving the infidels from our motherland. We are not afraid to... Are they subtitles? they are, aren't they?
No.
Well, what do I need subtitles for? Can't you understand what I'm saying? I studied English at the bloody American University in Cairo.
Well, obviously, I can understand what you're saying.
Oh,
but
you see how they condescend to us with their subtitles.
Oh, maybe it's teletext, for the hearing impaired.
Teletext?
No, a lot of TVs come with teletext nowadays.
Wait, say something again.
My friend has a 80-something...
Hey, how come he doesn't need subtitles?
Well, obviously, he's comprehensible.
No, I'm not. Look, I speak perfect English. She sells seashells by the seashore. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Round the ragged rocks, Oh!
The situation remains as dangerous and volatile as ever here in northern Iraq. While the rebuilding continues...
What? I can't understand you speak English. Where are your subtitles now? Oh, you think you're so good? Look at me! I don't have subtitles!
Kerry Downs, Iraq.
Shut up!
Oh, that's classic.
That's an oldie but a goodie.
That's what those guys remind me of.
Actually, the best one, the best one, but it wasn't a skit. It was where Baghdad Bob is on the streets of Baghdad talking about how the Americans are not in Iraq. And if you remember that take pulls up.
Yeah.
Literally pulls up. No, it's driving in the background. You're like, what is that?
Roll right up. Roll right up into Baghdad. I had in fact, one of my good friends was with the Third ID. That's the unit that did that. He was in Baghdad the very next day after that. When he tells the story, it's a lot funnier than.
My friend's son was in that wave where they were one of the first ones to go into Baghdad. Yeah. He was one of the first ones into the palace.
Marines. I tell you, when we were rolling up, folks, in there, people were waving at us like we were conquering heroes, and Saddam was all gone and stuff, and then
screwed it all up because Paul Bremer, his order is number 1, and his order number 2.
Can you guys hear me?
He screwed that all up. Yes, we do.
All right. Let me ask you guys. And this.
We lose. Where'd you go, Nico? Did you take him down?
You pushed the wrong button.
Hold on. There we are.
There you go. Okay, he's back.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So let me ask you guys about. Have you heard about this Omar mosque getting toppled?
Where in Syria?
That's the mosque they were speaking from.
So I saw online reports like the oldest mosque next to the Holy Sepulchre got demolished and all these things. Is that fake news, or did it get destroyed during the retaliation that Israel is doing?
I haven't heard nothing about that, dude.
I'm going to double check right now.
Yeah, I mean, so this is the online. There's like sources online that are claiming that, but yeah, okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't even trust the internet anymore.
No, but you get. Brad made a great point. It says that the best source of news today is Twitter.
It's X.
Or X, whatever you want to call it. But it's and there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, the clips that you get from there are. You don't have to run them through the filter of ABC, NBC, CNN, or whatever. You can get it raw, the information raw, and you can decide without some clown telling you.
You're getting it from the man in the street. Okay, that's how I know there is currently right now in Chicago a gang war between the Venezuelans and local gangs. That's not being reported in Chicago news, but I can show you the body count that is adding up. Okay, and there's a reason for that. Okay, Chicago gangster disciples hit a Venezuelan trap house, okay, party house, a drug house, prostitution house, okay, and they killed 4 people, okay, and shot 9 others, okay, and guess what? That's not being reported in the news. Well, the shooting is being reported in the news, but the reason for it is not being reported in the news. But guess what? All of a sudden now you got four dead on a Sunday afternoon yesterday, and guess who they are? They're all black gangster disciples. Who hit them? The Venezuelans. No, these are local people that live in the region, okay, in Chicago, in the neighborhood, saying, "Dude, we know exactly what that is."
Okay, so it's being reported where? Where's it being reported?
What for? What Steve was talking about? Or Nico was talking about?
The point I was trying to make
Oh.
was that it's being reported on X, is it not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
The
exactly.
point I'm trying to make. So you can get the most up to date information from Twitter. However, to provide context and background, you don't get all that noise thrown at you where you can get the raw data. And this is where we got that film clip, that film clip's posted on X, where these clowns are in this mosque, this grand mosque in Damascus, the Albani, what's it called? The Albani, it doesn't matter. But it's the grand mosque in Damascus.
Umayyad, yeah, the Umayyad dynasty, that's their mosque.
Okay.
Which is where, honestly, the protest started.
Like 700s for crying out loud.
Well, no, that mosque is where the protest started, where Syrian troops massacred a bunch of protesters back in 2013, 14, whatever it was. That's what started the whole thing. But anyway, if you also notice, if you watch traditional media, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, whatever, they all start out with, it's being reported on Twitter or being reported on X.
No.
In other words, they troll it and they get the news from there. Okay? Yeah, no, seriously, X is the spot to get your news. Now, don't get me wrong, there's all kinds of the fake news out there, but that quickly gets destroyed right away because the community knows and because other people that's not true.
But I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I know this is what's on topic actually. I mean, look at what happened during the lockdown and what Snopes did and all that other stuff. So, I mean, is it trusting Google and Twitter and all that really?
Well, that's because we have Elon Musk, dude.
He's our savior. Okay.
Well, no, he's not our savior, but he is opened up and he does not. Okay. All right. No, you can complain. I mean, if you say stupid stuff, you're going to trip the algorithm. Okay. You know what I mean? And it's the algorithm. Okay. You know what I mean? But pretty much, if you don't say stupid stuff, you're not going to get flagged. Okay.
Like hydroxychloroquine has 100% efficacy, that kind of stupid stuff.
Actually, you can probably say that now. You can definitely say boys are boys and girls are girls, or boys have penises and girls have vaginas. You can say that now and not get banned.
After all these lawsuits.
Huh? But anyway, no, you got it. Seriously, honestly, dude, X is the place to get your media from, because the civilized media or the mainstream media will report what's being reported on X. If you look at it, that's what they're doing. Okay. Now I confirm both. Okay. What?
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at X. I'm watching one of these videos, and I'm laughing because the same bunch of idiots that is. Can I share?
Sure.
Let me see if I can do this. The same bunch of idiots.
I don't see you sharing, Paul.
I'm getting there. Window. Let's see.
What's up, Mr. Steve?
It's the same way as StreamYard, pretty much.
I'm still listening to left-wing meltdowns on the media about Donald Trump winning the election. So sorry about that extra noise there.
Savor the moment. Savor the moment.
You know, I think Golda Meir said, "Dance while you can." So I'm dancing.
They're going to be after him 2 minutes into his presidency with everything in the kitchen sink is going to be thrown at that guy and everything. Everybody.
I don't think so. I don't. No.
Okay,
I think they started out with a willingness to kill him, kill off the bad guy to begin with.
Brad, I want to remind everybody, Brad voted for Ron DeSantis in the primary. Just reminding everybody that Brad came out and said Trump
Fact check false. I did not vote for Ron DeSantis.
Why didn't you vote for Ron DeSantis?
He
Brad?
didn't make it to the Chicago primary.
Okay, there you go.
All right. No, what I am saying
Always every day he goes, you got to vote for DeSantis. Trump can't win. Trump can't win. I'm like, Brad, you're wrong, but just chill out. It's going to be okay. No, and then all the way up to the election. Oh, she's behind. What can we do? It's got Kamala. So, and he tells you.
If I could ask a question,
sure.
Eric, you're using Streamlabs Talk Studio. Do you find this better or equal to StreamYard or
cheaper?
It's funny that you should ask that because this is the second week that we're using it. We're still having some hiccups, granted, with YouTube starting on time, getting it over to Rumble, getting it on. I haven't even checked Facebook to see if it's over there yet. So I'm still not 100% on how that's supposed to be rolling out. However, you have more options here on Streamlab. It seems, and this is only my second week using it, and it's very, if I can use it, it's user friendly. Red can vouch for that. It's very user friendly. Plus it's $17 a month. StreamYard went to $45 a month.
You see, because that's what they were asking from me today is for $45 a month. And it's just like, I don't think I want to pay that, and it's like I'm looking for something else. So when you said, I was just thinking about it, and then I got the request to join this. And so I actually went to the Streamlabs and signed up for it. And so I'm hoping it's going to be cheaper and better.
It's a new interface, Steve. If you want help with it, I can help you with it. Except Eric doesn't follow my instructions, which is why we're not on right now. But that's beside the point. I'm just saying. But getting back to the whole thing. But no, just to let you know, it's a different user interface. It has more bells and whistles. Like, we haven't used this. Hold on. Like, we got this.
That is worth $45.
That's funny
right there.
We got a laugh track. We got multiple laugh tracks. Oh, we can chant too. Right. Oh, I gotta stop it. Okay, yeah, okay. But either way, and we can play the videos, like,
No, Aisha. How old was Joseph? Oh,
You're finished.
How about Kamala Harris's laugh?
No, I haven't uploaded that yet. But
please don't.
Yeah.
She is banned from.
But anyway, yeah, it has definite more potential, I think. And you can do more with it. I just haven't delved into its functionality. But either way, definitely, StreamYard, they raised that price. Remember, it was during the pandemic, it was like $10 a month, and then it went to $20.
I know it went. I was thinking it was like $19.99 or so. It doesn't matter.
No, it was less than that. Was $10. Yeah,
it went up to $25, and I'm like, okay, maybe we got an extra, but we didn't get anything added to it, and then it shot up to $45. And I even emailed these guys, and I said, look, can't I just go back to my old plan? They said, no, we're repackaging everything, and da-da-da-da-da. I said, look, if I don't get this down, I'm going to have to go someplace else. And they said, well, you can cancel your subscription and da-da-da-da. I'm like, that is an answer? You can cancel your subscription? Okay. And I went in, I canceled it, and I'm done with them. And it's their own undoing. It's just like everything else. They got greedy.
No, that's why I told Eric. I said, just threaten to cancel. They'll give you a reduction. I'm sure everybody does this. They didn't. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, dude.
No, that's and it's
what they did the beginning of this week was they had a 50% discount.
For new subscribers, right? For new ones. No.
Listen to this. When I went through the process of canceling my subscription, because they take you to several screens to do it. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Yes.
Yeah.
You're really sure you want to do this? Yes. How about if we get, and listen to this, how about if we give you a 40% off subscription for the next 6 months? And I thought, you know what? If you would have offered that permanently, I would not have deleted my account. If you can offer it for 6 months, Gunfighter, you can offer it in perpetuity. You're just being greedy is all you're doing. So I hit nope, cancel.
Wow.
I'm done. I'm done with them crooks.
Either way.
Sorry.
Either way, if you can help Steve, let me know. We'll hook you up.
Okay.
But as long as you do exactly what I say, only what I say. Let's do that.
And they because uploading in our intro video, it was uploading our intro.
That was a cluster.
I didn't.
That was a cluster.
And
that was like 4 days with tech support with me. Okay, and then finally I figured out the problem, not because of tech support. I figured out the problem on my own. I'm like, oh, I see what's going on here, because Eric, I don't know, created. There's like two. There's a cross and the crescent, and the cross and crescent discussion group team. Okay, so that's another thing, but that's what's up.
Whatever. All right.
Anyway,
we got it all worked out. So yeah, it's a better deal, and I'm thinking that you'll like it. Okay, so where were we? I wanted to show this, and I'm not going to play any of it, but I did want to show this. Just where? Let me see here. Just so you get an idea of what's happening to the son of Hamas. This guy appeared.
Oh yeah.
Where'd he go? Were you going to play this, Rad?
No, go ahead. Go, you play it.
Okay, this guy went to a debate, and halfway through his debate, they tried to cut him off. If you want to get on X and look and see what happened with this guy,
was escorted out of the chamber when she was alleged to have assaulted.
They basically did him ugly because he is telling what is really happening in Gaza, what is really happening with Israel, and it did not fit their narrative of genocide, starving them, and all them evil Jews, because we know how the Jews are, don't we? And so what they did was they tried to cut him off. So even
they didn't try to cut him off; they escorted him out the building.
Oh, did they? I didn't see that.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
really?
They escorted him off the building.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I have another article here that I want to show and see if you guys have seen this. This was a while ago. I was going to play it last week. This is, maybe it wasn't last week. Okay, it says December 3rd is the date. Oh, I'm not showing it. Sorry. There we go. Got to get used to the thing here again. Where you have no-go zones in Europe are increasing. Now, who in here, let me just ask this, who in here knew that there were Muslim no-go zones in Europe? Okay. I think we all okay. Here.
I know.
I used to live in one of them. It's called Rinkeby in Stockholm, Sweden. So
really?
Yep. Yes.
How long ago was that, Steve?
I lived there from 2000 after I was evacuated from the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip.
Steve's giving it away here. So Steve's like, I was in the Gaza Strip.
Oh, sorry, my bad. That was I set him up for that. But yeah.
And then I went to Sweden to a no-go zone.
I was just trying to get the time frame about this historical mass migration, if it was related, but obviously
2016, 2015, somewhere in there.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks. That's all I wanted to know.
When was this? This was earlier than that, wasn't it? When you left Gaza?
Yeah, I was evacuated from Gaza in 2007 after Hamas took over, and then from there I went to Jordan for 3 months, and from Jordan I went on a ministry trip to Europe, and we went to Germany, and then to Holland, and then to Sweden, Stockholm, Sweden. And then when I got to Sweden, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to stay here. So I stayed there for 3 years as a missionary working with the Arab ministry. But there's an area called Rinkeby, which is part of Stockholm, Sweden. and it's like being back in the Gaza Strip. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's obviously got better services and everything, but it is a Middle Eastern enclave there, and so yeah,
Steve,
I don't think it's a no-go zone, but it is like the Middle East. So
Steve,
we had advice not to go to that.
Well,
we had advice not to go there in 2016, and
really?
they told us, you can go in, but if anything happens, the police won't help you.
Wow.
But no. So Steve, I turned Eric on. He hates me for this actual cool short series on Netflix. What was it called?
Caliphate. Oh my gosh.
The Caliphate. Okay, which actually dealt. Okay, the story is Sweden, because Sweden had the most ISIS brides in Europe. Okay. ISIS, well, not just ISIS brides, but ISIS fighters. They were exporting them from Sweden like you would not believe. Okay, all right. I think England was second. Okay, but Sweden was the top one. But so it dealt with this story. Okay, and I thought it was pretty good, wasn't it, Eric?
No,
I mean, Eric was triggered.
I would not. Don't watch it. It's just
okay.
Well, it's informative. Watch it, but it's
intense.
Spook the snot out of you.
But was it not accurate? Was it not intense? Was it not well done? In the translations, this is the amazing part. I looked this up. Okay, that was done in Sweden. The translations are all done by AI. So it's a Sweden, series that they're all speaking Swedish.
English in the movie. They speak English.
No, that's AI. AI does the translations.
No.
Yes.
I actually use the same services probably, because I do that too.
Yes. That is amazing about AI. This is what they're scared about. But anyway, bottom line is this.
Well, I'm not going to watch it to confirm it. That's for sure.
But bottom line is this: watch it. The Cali is on Netflix. If you have Netflix, if you don't, I can share it with you. But it's called The Caliphate. Okay, it is really good. It's really intense, and it pretty much ends as expected, poorly, pretty much for everyone. But beside the point. But they were dealing with this. There was this high level Muslim population in Sweden. Why in Sweden? The temperature on average is 40 degrees below freaking zero. How do you take people from the desert, okay, and plot them in Sweden and think they're going to be happy?
Money. Welfare.
No, really.
Getting the jizya from the kafir. That's what they're doing. Sweden.
Let me put this starting to kick them out. Oh,
right. Sweden is tightening it up with the immigration, and they're doing more investigative work to these immigration claims. But Sweden, number one, I think 10 years ago, it was projecting within 15 years ago, it was going to be a third world nation. It was going to be completely broke because of the number of refugees coming into the country. That's number one. I don't know how close. I think with the crackdown now, what we're seeing now is a result of the welfare state and all of the welfare payments that they're paying out to these jihadi immigrants. Second of all, the rates of Swedish women, I'm not sure how long ago this was so high that women were, you know how Muslim men want to have women with the yellow hair? Have we heard of that? We've heard this. Okay, is there a hadith? Okay.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Okay, so they were dyeing their blonde hair black at such a high rate to keep from getting raped that they ran out of hair dye in Sweden. That's how bad it was. Now, I'm not sure if that was 10 years ago or how many years ago, but I remember doing a show.
Denmark was the rape capital, and it was predicted to fall and become a Muslim country by 2040. Now that was back in 2010, 2016. And now it's going to be a close tie between, I would say, between Sweden, Denmark, and France, which will fall first.
You think France? Really?
I think France has a good chance of falling first.
Well, you know what? The in Sweden, when I was there, the population of Sweden altogether was 9 million, and 1.5 million was Muslims. And the Muslims were having 7 or 8 kids, and then they divorce the woman and they marry another woman, have 7 or 8 kids, because for each kid you get government welfare.
Yes.
And so they were doing this, and the Swedes were having 1 or 2 kids and aborting the rest. And so the population was, and it wasn't going to take that long. And so Sweden has got such a small population that I kind of feel that they're probably the ones endangered the most.
Well, Europe as a whole, there was a video that was made a number of years ago, and this is about the same time, 2015, 2016, talking about the birth rate in Europe. Where it's like a high birth rate for a country would be 1.7 in some of the countries like Germany or maybe Italy or something like that. Well, Italy's not even that high. Most of the countries around 1.4, 1.2.
I think it was 1.2. Sweden and Denmark were around.
Spain was the lowest. Spain had like a 1.1 or 1.2, which anything below 2 you cannot maintain. Anything below, you cannot maintain your current your current population. But anything below, I think it's 1.7 or
1.5, I believe.
You cannot reverse it. You cannot there's no model, cultural model anywhere where if you have that low of a birth rate where you're going to be able to reverse the decline in your population. So when they start talking about who was that, Ahmadinejad, saying that they were going to conquer Europe through the
that was Gaddafi. That was Gaddafi.
Oh, was that Gaddafi? Okay, it's Gaddafi
before he was sodomized. By her soldiers that when Hillary Clinton gave Libya to the ISIS. So
he was sodomized. What'd you say?
You remember when Gaddafi
that was a broomstick they did it with though, or yeah. You feel bad for the guy, but you don't feel bad for the guy. I mean, to have that done to you is just
like Assad,
Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me just argue for the dictator here. Gaddafi was a reformist, believe it or not. He cooperated with the U.S. He turned over Al Qaeda to the U.S. He did.
Why, Rad?
He turned over Al Qaeda operatives to the U.S.
Why, Rad?
Okay? Why? Because we were going to destroy him.
No, we blew up
because of Saddam Hussein. He saw what happened to Saddam Hussein.
Right. But no, that's another thing.
Actually, he was actually participating in helping us before that.
Yeah, no, but hold on. Here's actually another thing. Saddam was honestly, until he went batshit crazy, don't get me wrong, okay, was a reformer. He electrified the whole country in spite of, remember the Muslims said, no, we can't have electricity. Electricity is kufar. No, seriously, he had to put these people down because he was electrifying the whole country. No, oh my God, you cannot educate women. He opened up universities. And now Iraqi women, up until the fall of
come on, before Saddam came around, there was more people being educated in both races, both sexes, far more than when Saddam took over.
I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear that. What? I'm sorry.
Far more than when Saddam took over. Far more. You look at the 70s and 60s.
The country was illiterate. Paul,
no, in the 70s
country
and 60s,
was
the
illiterate. The country was illiterate. He forced westernization on them. And yes, he had to be brutal. Now, he did invade Iran, and because of the hostage situation, he said that's a good thing. And what's his name?
Iraq and Iran were fighting for 100 years at least, 100 years
Well,
before that. They've been
either
nonstop.
way, he invades Iran, and the United States, this is under Reagan, and Paul Rumsfeld, remember him, he goes and visits Saddam Hussein and shakes his hand. We have photographs of this. Has a meeting. And he comes back, and this is in writing, where he tells Reagan that Saddam Hussein could be a great leader or great influence, okay, or an ally in the region for the United States of America. Because he was. He was fighting the Shia that kidnapped our hostages. Okay? He was fighting
I mean, our
Islamic
people, not
terrorism.
our hostages, our people.
Our people. Well, that's what I meant. Our people. Right? Okay? And again, remember the strong man. He had to do it. He took this desert country, okay, that had great oil reserves, and he made it flourish, dude. He really did. And then he invaded Iraq, which we supported. And we sold him more phosphate and phosgene and nitrates that could fertilize the entire freaking world. In other words, we knew what he was going to do with these chemicals. Okay? Dual use chemicals. Okay?
You know one thing, Rad, if I could just say one thing about that, because this is something that I hear a lot. And I'm not saying you're doing this, of course. I don't think a redneck. Oops, I'm sorry, bro.
You are a redneck, brother.
I don't
mean
mean to be racist.
Look at you, ball cap. Yeah.
But one thing I hear is like a lot of times is America made these guys. America made Al Qaeda. America made these guys. And like right now, they're saying about Hamas. They're saying Israel made Hamas. And you know what? Sometimes that's the case, that there was some involvement and stuff, and it was to their benefit at that time. But the thing spun out of control, and they're not on our. It's not to our benefit anymore. To where you need to go in there and say, hey, you don't want to walk with us. You don't want to help us. You're hurting us now. And so I kind of think that particular argument, just because I've heard it so many times, from the Arabs and stuff.
Well,
and
I'm actually not making that argument. What I'm making,
like I said, I wasn't saying you were making it.
Okay, well, no, what I'm making the argument is this. Okay, we didn't know who Saddam Hussein was. We were getting oil from Saddam. We were getting oil from Iran. And then all of a sudden, the Shia revolution cut off that oil supply from us. And all of a sudden, there's Iraq, which was giving oil to Britain. Okay? But either way, Rumsfeld goes and visits Saddam because he's invading Iran, which at that time in the 80s was our enemy. I mean, seriously, there can be no peace with Iran as long as people from my generation are alive that went through the hostage situation. 460 something odd days of hostages. Okay, I'm sorry. I do it. I despise the Iranians just for that. Okay, there can be no peace. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, bottom line is this. Okay, so we did support him. We did not directly sell him weapons. We sold weapons to Saudi Arabia, 3 to 4 times as much as they needed. And then the Saudis sold them to Iran. Same thing with Kuwait. Well, Kuwait funded the money, but it was Saudi, Egypt. Anyway, bottom line, we funneled this stuff. And, this is the thing on the chemical weapons. These are dual-use chemicals. Nitrates, phosgene, phosphorus. All these stuff are agricultural fertilizers. What we did was we lifted the embargo and we said, okay, you can buy as much nitrates and as much phosgene and as much chlorine, as much all the fucking wonderful chemicals that you want to build chemical weapons with. We do not care. You can do this. And they knew what they were going to do with it. And they built the chemical weapons. And Iraq was not the first to do it. Iran was the first to do it, just to let you know. And Iraq used the chemical weapons. But either way, this is another thing. Saddam Hussein disregarded our intelligence. We were giving him satellites. We were giving him solid intelligence, but he disregarded it. Either way, Saddam Hussein was our bad guy, but he went bat crap crazy. And then he invaded Kuwait. And he had legitimate grievances against Kuwait because Kuwait was literally slant drilling into Iraqi oil fields and stealing Iraqi oil. This is documented. And he told them, do not do this, do not do this. And instead, they kept doing this because they had the backing of the British government. Anyway, hold on. President Bush and Margaret Thatcher go off to a meeting in Colorado. This is key. What was it? Not Boulder. It was, well, anyway, let's just say it was Boulder, Colorado. Okay. President Bush, and this is documented through the U.S. ambassador, signals to Iraq and actually says, and I'm going to paraphrase, this is an internal Arab matter. The United States of America has no interest in involving itself in an internal Arab matter. That was the message. In other words, hands off. You can do whatever you want to do to Iraq. This was delivered to the Iraqis, to the Iraqi ambassador, okay, in Iraq, in Baghdad, from our prime minister. This was the direct cable, the direct message. And all of a sudden, well, Saddam says, okay, I'm invading Kuwait. And he invades Kuwait. President Bush says, on his way to this meeting with Margaret Thatcher, I can show you the video, and he repeats the same message. We are monitoring the situation closely, but this is an internal Arab matter, and the United States is basically going to stay out of it. He gets on a flight with Margaret Thatcher. Kuwait is a protectorate of Britain. Kuwait supplies Britain with oil. When they got off that plane, or after they had their meeting, whatever, Boulder, Colorado, it was actually in Boulder, Colorado, or Colorado Springs. Either way, he gets out, and Bush delivers a fiery speech. I remember this specifically, a fiery speech, because it happened within a 2 to 3 hour time span. He says, oh no, we will stand up to dictators. This is Adolf Hitler. He will not stop, blah, 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 blah. So the gears of war were chosen. And Saddam made a mistake. He turned his army to face Saudi Arabia and threatened Saudi Arabia, which was our oil supplier at the time after we lost Iran. Well, actually, Saudi Arabia was always our oil supplier. But be that as it may, mistakes were made by Saddam Hussein. Mistakes were made by the United States of America. But either way, Saddam Hussein was our strong man. And I'm saying, look what we got now, dude. We got chaos. We got horrible shit. Okay? Wherever we intervene, we ruin it. We make it worse. Let it play out is my position.
I agree.
Sorry, but go ahead.
I agree.
Go ahead.
Well, you're not allowed to do that, Issa. Not on my show.
Oh, really? I do think we need to take accountability. I think it's important, and we need to make better choices and decisions, especially in foreign policy. So I agree with Rad on that. Sorry about that.
The problem with and Rad and I have gone round and round on this several times before. The problem is nobody has the gift of hindsight, because hindsight is what? It's 20/20. So when you make decisions in real time based on the facts that you have in your hand and based on the political climate that exists, you're setting yourself up for, and this is always the case, of people coming in and or Monday morning quarterbacking from a chair on your decision. when Bush made that decision to go in and topple Saddam Hussein in 2003, it was predicated on the facts that he had in his hand. And I'm going to tell you right now that that recording of that Iraqi general that Colin Powell played before the UN, talking about the nerve agents, moving the nerve agents so the UN inspectors don't find them, was an authentic recording. So when you have on tape an Iraqi general telling his subordinates, move the nerve agents, the weaponry that has the nerve agents in them, so the UN inspectors will not find them, you had better take them seriously. It was an authentic recording. Everybody's come back now, and Colin Powell, of course, he's a turncoat traitor to the Republican Party, has come back and said otherwise now. But the fact is when Bush went in there in 2003, he was doing it based on the best intelligence that we had at that time. You can sit here and, criticize the intelligence, saying that, well, it wasn't complete. They were running all those chemical weapons and biological weapons across the border into Syria. That's fine. We did not have absolute intelligence on that at the time, did not have near the satellite capabilities that we have today. But the bottom line is that when we went in there and toppled that guy, my personal feeling is we did the right thing. We did the wrong thing by staying too long. We should have allowed them to set up their own government, not set up a democracy, because that never works in these countries. We've found out. I mean, we should have figured that out in Afghanistan when the what's their nuts were there. The Russians were there. But the bottom line is, as far as my political analysis and what I know about that, is that we made the right decision to get rid of Saddam. We made the wrong decision by trying to stay. I want to do one thing before we go. We were talking, who mentioned earlier about I think Nico put it in chat. Where is Nico? Nico put it in chat. Talking about
the picture.
Quit being so real on that. Because we were talking about, you can't reverse a birth rate.
Oh, the Chinese, yeah.
Yeah, the Chinese. He puts in that the Chinese did it. All right, fine. The Chinese. But they got like a billion people.
Well, yeah, I don't know what they did. Honestly, I've been working for the Chinese for years online. So I know that the whole thing was real about them, not being able to have only one child. Yeah,
one child policy, sure.
Because the children complain about it. I mean, there's the psychological issues about that and all that stuff.
That was kind of a top-down forced depopulation, slow the growth of the country type thing. And they still have not gotten back to, 2.1 is what you need in order to sustain your population. Here, and then who was it? It was Steve talked about what's his nuts, Gaddafi. Here's that clip.
Muammar al-Gaddafi of Libya said, "There are signs that Allah will grant victory to Islam in Europe without swords, without guns, without conquest. We don't need terrorists. We don't need homicide bombers. The 50+ million Muslims in Europe will turn it into a Muslim continent within a few decades."
Bam.
So it's interesting. Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So the first point that I wanted to address, the first point you said about like hindsight is 2020. I agree, and I think we need to get experts who really know this stuff. America has not really been very good at doing that. Like, for example, in Vietnam, I was doing research into this. The ambassador to Vietnam didn't know what Saigon was. He got the position from nepotism. That's a big problem. A lot of these people just put in their friends. They don't actually put experts into these certain spaces.
Well, Issa, on that, would you say it is a bad idea to put the father of your son-in-law in as ambassador of, I don't know, France?
I can see where there can be good in that, but I see there's also a big problem if a person is not an expert and doesn't actually know how to do the job.
Why I'm asking that, because Trump put Jared Kushner's dad, appointed him to be.
But because everything was nepotism with him. He put in my man, the Kennedy. He put the Kennedy for healthcare. All the people who supported him, he put them in. And I get that. I can get that that's a maneuver. You can be nepotistic, but there's going to be fallout from doing nepotism.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying. Just being objective here. So the other point about like everyone being Muslim, I think this is the funniest thing, and I always talk about this. Islam is not this conglomerate. People assume that it's just this one thing that people believe in. It's a bunch of things. And that's why there's so much fighting and battling around the world. There's not a unified front. There's no unified Islam. And I know Hussein knows that. A lot of people, we know this. This idea that people are like, oh, Islam is Wahid. It's Tawheed. It's just unification of all the groups. It's not. It's definitely not. And that's why they're, you know who are the greatest casualties of Muslims? Are Muslims. And that's it. The Muslims are fighting the Muslims. So when people say that, oh, we're this united front, no. They do this thing called takfir. I don't know if we've talked about this here, but it's saying, oh, people are not really Muslim. It's saying, oh, you're not a real Muslim. You're not a real Muslim. So that's what a lot of people do. You know, they have these battles to say, you're not the real Muslim. No, you're not the real Muslim. Can the real Muslim please stand up? I don't know. You know, so that's Gaddafi's position.
Well, he said no. So that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. Okay, in order, for you to have a regime, for you to have control of a country or a region of a country, you've got to be brutal, because you've got to kill the other takfiris that are takfiring you. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so if you're
saying,
what's that?
I said I 100% see what you're saying, and it's different. It's different. Like I know in Christianity it's different. Like in Christianity, you might say, "Hey, a Unitarian's not like a real Christian." You might not fellowship with the Unitarian, but you're not going to go attack the Unitarian and tell the Unitarian, "Your life is now forfeit." You're not doing that. I get that. It's different.
Well, to be fair, we got here after several hundred years of this. No, back in the late. Well, I would say 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th century or 1600s. Yeah. There were Protestant and Catholic wars. There were, you know what I mean? There was all this stuff going on. But I'm just saying, Muslims have to go through that period. We have to let them go through that. And unfortunately, we can't, because modern warfare and modern weapons are so devastating now. Okay?
Didn't they say that Islam is in need of a modern reformation, but yet...
No.
Let me finish. Can I finish the statement? My goodness.
Sure.
All right. Hold on. Let me do this for you, Rad. I'll put you right there. Okay. Islam needs to go through a reformation. The problem is that they went through a reformation, and that was the Muslim Brotherhood.
I agree with you.
The Wahhabis, yeah. So that's that they did go through reformation, and this is what we get.
I agree with you. No, that's not what I'm saying. They need to go through the bloodletting. They need to go through the bloodletting. But the problem is that the weapons today, okay? Dude, a single guy with a machine gun can wipe out an entire village, as you know.
I've got a new last name.
You know what I mean? I mean, you can take out,
cause mass casualties is a lot higher. And I get, if they do both type of violent reformation, it could, and as a matter of fact, if you look at Iran trying to get a nuclear bomb, you don't get any more destructive than that. If they get a hold of that and they try to reform the Islamic population through the use of force, if you have a nuclear bomb,
it's not going to happen.
This isn't my live stream.
It's not going to happen.
What's not going to happen, you said?
It's not good. Iran has had enough of the regime there. Iranians don't want that anymore. They don't like it. They're sick and tired of it. They don't want this kind of totalitarian movement. They don't want to be. What kind of woman wants to have her, to be abused because she's wearing a hijab but some hair is showing? No woman wants that. People don't want to be. They don't want their lives to be controlled. They want freedom. People want.
But again, Issa, in order to stop that, you have to be violent. you have to apply extreme violence to those that say this is what we want.
They're talking about Iran.
Well,
Hey, I want my Iranian wife to come say hi to you guys.
Oh, yeah, please come. Hala chatore.
Hold on, Steve. Is she wearing a top? I don't want to see.
Wearing a niqab?
No, you won't believe what she's wearing.
Oh my goodness. That's hello, how are you?
Born again.
Must be born again. Amen. Amen.
Apostate? Is she an apostate? I mean,
She's not an apostate. Well, she's apostate from Catholicism.
oh, well, we won't.
Now that everyone's here, can I ask a question? One of those questions, one of those, not oppositional, but kind of a bit of a different tone. Like I had a Syrian friend in Greece, a young buck studying, who, knew all kinds of folks, including Muslim refugees that were shady. Anyways, he was insisting that Assad, the Syrian president, even though he's Muslim, he's kind of the good kind of Muslim that allows Christians to not be so oppressed. So, what do you guys feel about that? I mean, I know there's no Syrians here, but
So Assad is from the Alawite sect. Alawites are, up until just 40 years ago, 50 years ago, total and complete heretics of both Sunni and Shia Islam. They drink wine. They have elaborate dance ceremonies, actually elaborate wine drinking ceremonies in their religious festivals, okay? No, they are completely heretics. But because there are offshoot, a branch of the 12ers or 7ers of Shia Islam, eventually Iran embraced them, okay, as part of the faithful. But that was only a political move because, again, remember, this is going back 50, 60 years ago, okay? Only because Syria was against Israel, okay? But the Alawites, as far as I know, cannot go on Hajj. They are forbidden, okay? So, no, they are outside the mainstream of Islam. They are not Muslims. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'd like to ask Steve's wife a question.
I'm not very familiar with Syrian Muslims.
But she was in Iran.
I was in Iran.
When Khomeini took over. So.
Oh, she's Iranian. She grew up in Iran.
No.
Yes.
I did not know that. What?
Yeah. She's Iranian, but she's Armenian.
Ah, okay. So we all know what happened to the Armenians up in Turkey, World War I. And so, how did you get to the United States?
It's a long story. It's a very long story. You can't come to United States from Iran. You have to travel to another country, either to Europe or somewhere and Islam in Iran, they won't let female to leave the country and go to Europe or something. They won't give you a visa. So you have to go to a country that you don't need a visa, like Turkey, or go to, I don't know, Philippines. I think if you want to go, you don't need a visa or something. But I went to Turkey. And then from Turkey, I went to all the countries between Turkey and East Germany. Before it was East Germany at that time. So I went through
Romania.
What's the other one?
Yugoslavia.
I went to Sofia. What is the country?
Bulgaria.
And then it used to be Belgrade at that time. In Yugoslavia, it was before the separation of, and then the Czechoslovakia, that was Prague, and then to East Germany, from East Germany to West Germany at that time, because I think it was at the time that the wall was destroyed, the Berlin Wall between the East Germany and West Germany, and then from there I had to apply to come to United States. So,
but she had one story that I just want to tell you guys, where she got lost at night because they were walking from Czechoslovakia to Germany at night, and with a bunch of Muslim immigrants. And she's walking with them, trying to go to Germany because that's where her brother was.
Yeah.
And they lost track of them. And she's out in this middle of this field, and there's a phone booth. And you want to tell them what happened with the phone?
Yeah, so because the people that were trying to smuggle us from Czechoslovakia to Germany, because they don't give you a visa, we had to somehow get to Germany in order to come here or go to another country. But I picked Germany because my brother was there. And so we got lost, and on the way from Czechoslovakia to Germany, we were walking. They took us to the border. From the border, we got off the van, and we had to walk the border, cross the border, kind of like what it's happening on the borders here. They're coming in from Texas or Arizona. So we had to walk, but we lost our contact person. So we got lost. And he took any money that we had with us, our passports, everything. He took it from us. And it was me and a whole bunch of Afghani Muslims. And there were a couple of other families, like mom, son, and mother and the son, and older people, and they all wanted to escape from Iran. So they were what happened was when we got lost, I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, and we don't have money. And I saw a telephone booth, so I went in there, and I'm like, God, please help me. I don't know what to do. And back then, I was praying to Mary or any other saint, whatever. So, but I said, God, please help me. I don't know what to do. I'm so scared. And then I picked up the phone, and I dialed the number, and it worked. That was a miracle.
You're supposed to put money in, and she didn't have money, and
Yeah.
it worked.
It worked enough. It worked enough minutes for me to tell my brother where I am and I'm lost.
And did he come?
And then I got disconnected.
He came to get you then?
Yes, and when it got disconnected, I tried again, and it worked again for the second time. And he said to me, find the Bahnhof, the train station, and go to the train station. So he sent the person who was the head of that. I think they all got arrested because they were charging people to bring them across to Germany. So we found the.
Now they're bringing them to East Germany. You're saying?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mason.
You know, just put this into perspective.
Yes.
Okay, you're trying to break into East Germany. That's just. I mean, that is like with the Stasi, and I mean, you can't make that up. Think of the country you have to have been in order to want to go to. Good Lord, woman.
East Germany was better than Islamic Iran.
That's crazy.
I have to tell you this, appearance-wise, it was a lot older and uglier than Iran. Okay, Iran looked a lot more modern, a lot more like you have more better cars, better food, better everything, but there's no freedom. There was no freedom, and I was stopped by morality police few times. Fortunately, or thank you, Lord Jesus, that He protected me. But
this
they
is in Iran.
asked, yeah, if you show
let's put this in perspective. You are. I don't need to date you in your age, but you are of our age. So I'm a 55-year-old man. Eric's like 70 years old. Steve is 100 years old. I'm just saying, okay? All right? Okay. No, I'm just saying.
My yellow hair.
You had to be like 12, 13 when all this is going on. You know what I mean? Very young girl, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I was 14, 15.
Yeah. So you had to be, were you sent out on your own? or did you have family with you, or you
No,
know what
when
I
I
mean?
left, I was 19.
Oh, okay. So this was. Oh, so you were heavily into the Iranian regime then.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I saw the war between Iran and Iraq.
She was there when the Shah was there. She lived there when the Shah was in charge too, and has.
Well, no, this is what I want to mention because this is what I'm talking about. The Shah was actually a benevolent, brutal dictator. He modernized Iran, but he was brutal to the Islamicists. He was very brutal.
He even wanted to have his own little mini Armenian genocide. This is
I'm not saying this.
Say
I'm
that.
not saying he was a good guy. He was a saint. But again, he modernized Iran. And what she's talking about, she goes in East Germany. East Germany is stuck in 1950s.
Yes.
Iran is 1970s. It's
I can tell you that I traveled to Berlin in 1999, I think it was. I flew into Berlin, and my family, we rented a car and we went to Poland. Now, this is 10 years after the reunification of East and West. I guess it was 2000, maybe. It was 10 years after the reunification of the two countries. And Berlin was like, they called it the city of the skies or the cranes, because they were rebuilding everything. They were rebuilding everything eastward up to Poland. Crossing from East Germany, which had been modernized by then, it was not such, because the Russians did nothing to build infrastructure in Germany. They hated the Germans. So they spent no money there, and it looked like the 1950s. But when you crossed into Poland, that literally looked like the 1950s, because they had not gone through this reunification process, and they were still poor as dirt, and they did not have the money to rebuild their country. So when we start talking about, going into something like that, God bless you, for doing that, and that's absolutely amazing.
I was there for 12 days. I couldn't stay there more than 12 days. I stayed there for 12 days, and they wanted to, because they put us in like one of those, the Gestapos, like Gestapos. What do you call those?
Stasi,
yeah. Those Nazis, it was kind of like that, their camp. So they wanted to come and take fingerprints so they could give us IDs. So we could stay in East Germany, but I called my brother who was in West Germany. He was in Cologne. I called him and he said, no, I'm going to come and get you. You can't stay there. That's not a place. That's worse than Iran. So,
worse than Iran.
So I went out the window. At night when my brother he came with his friend. They brought the car. We threw everything out the window with it was me, and I helped a few other people that I could trust them. I said, I'm going to West Germany if you guys want to come. And they came. Actually, one of them was a Muslim guy whose daughter became a doctor in Germany, and his wife came from Iran, but he gave me a cross as a gift because I helped them so much. And we threw everything out the window, and we left that building. Nobody could, they couldn't see us because we left the building, and got in the car and traveled to West Germany.
So what year was this? I'm just curious. What year was this, roughly?
89, 90s, something like that.
Yeah, so that was when it was ending. Yeah. Because if this would have happened like 5-6 years before this, you'd all been shot.
Yeah, no, nobody was checking the freeways.
Where did you cross into Germany or West Germany? Do you know where that was? Where you crossed in? I'm just asking that because the further north you got, the more stringent it became. The further south you got along the West German, East German border, it was
the
security was tighter because it was the American sector.
Yeah, no. So I went to Frankfurt first. We stayed in Frankfurt for a day or something in our cousin's house, and then we went to Cologne. But from East Germany, I was in Meissen in East Germany. One of those cities that make lots of china and stuff like that, like I don't know, like
Plates,
and
ceramics.
ceramics and stuff like that. They're famous for that.
Wow. Steve, where did you find this girl? I mean, or actually,
well, I was standing on the street with a big wooden cross.
Giant cross!
We tried it with Rad. It didn't work, but
no, I go out with the giant cross, going to get the woman, and no, it does not work. I told him he has to send me his special cross. He's like, no, just go to Home Depot.
She likes to stand in front of the mosque with the cross too. So she's.
I've noticed that too. Yes, I want my cross.
Trying to get a cross to get a wife. He wants to use a cross to get a wife.
He wanted me to send it to him, but that 2x4 is too long to put in the mail.
Well, she might not know.
No, that's what Steve told me. Steve told me, go make your own cross. And I did. And I stood out in the corner. And all I got was spit on and slapped and mocked. I didn't give me no wife. I don't know what's going on. He's got the special magic cross. I'm just saying.
Yes.
We sent Steve a body camera.
They sent me a body cam to film because when I was being attacked on the street.
Well, we wanted to get it. Wanted to get it on film of him getting his head chopped off by one of these guys.
And
they just wanted.
We are disappointed in that too.
Yo, wait, you got attacked on the street, bro?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You get on this guy's Facebook channel, and are you still going down to that corner, or does she keep you away from there?
No, she doesn't keep me away. She encourages me. If I don't go, she says go.
Well, you got to get on his Facebook channel. Because he's got, just out of the blue, I'll get a notification. Oh, Steve's live, and I'm sitting there watching it, and he's getting in a fight with somebody or an argument with somebody, telling that, well, if you don't get out of here, we're gonna blow your home up or whatever. The things that they've done to him at that mosque. Is that place still open?
Well, we're in another city, and we're going to another mosque, but believe it or not, it's the same thing.
Yeah, overall,
really shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
But I don't know if you know Ala-Eddin.
This is America.
You guys know Ala-Eddin? He comes in here.
Oh yeah, the Palestinian Ala-Eddin. He's my best friend. He says horrible things about me.
He made a video about us, and he says the most demonic couple on the internet. And so we have that as a badge of honor.
Wow, that's so horrible that you get to share your faith, and that makes you a bad person. Wow.
Yeah, coming from Fem, I'd wear that as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric.
Hello.
I want to give a shout out to Ed.
Oh, Ed's in the house. Yeah, I saw him in the chat. Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, Ed. I love the compliment.
He's saying he was. I always thought Darcy was Nutella. Oh yeah. We all. Well, I was gonna say. Sometimes when I make comments about people's memes or their avatars, I get it all wrong, and then people. I never hear the end of it. Okay, guys, I am going to cut the show. I'm sorry. I know we're having way.
Bless you.
But
I have one question. I had one question for Hussein. Can I ask or not?
Of course.
Please. Thank
Go
you.
ahead. That's fine. That's good. Go ahead.
It's because Ala-Eddin was mentioned. I'm just curious because I keep hearing this all the time about a unified Palestine. Would this unified Palestine actually support Christian Palestinians? Like that's what it's been something that's been sitting in my mind. I'm like, would Christian Palestinians actually be equal citizens in this Palestinian state? What do you think?
At the beginning, because that's one of the things that Yasser Arafat did really good. He did marry a Christian, and he was very good. He was good to the Christians. And whenever he says all the crimes that the Jews did, they says the Jews came and they burned down our fig trees, and they burned down our olive trees, and they drove us out of our homes, and they burned our churches and our mosques. He'd always say churches first, And so he understood that he needed the Christians, and there were a lot more Christians, Palestinian Christians, in the Holy Land at his time than there are now. And you know what, though? Unfortunately, the way it's gone, the Christian population is so tiny, even though they support the Palestinian. Right now, there's a guy named Munzir Isaac. He's very much pro-Palestinian, and his stuff is very, you know, I don't want to say anti-Israel because I don't want to besmirch him, but he's the one who says that, you know, that Jesus was a Palestinian and all this kind of stuff. And so they want the Christian support because they know that's the key to America's support and Europe's support. Okay. But there's also a saying, and the saying is, first of all, take care of Saturday and then Sunday. And, you know, that's the Jews first and then the Christians. And so Islam is Islam. And so I think that, like what we're going to find out in Syria here in a few weeks, you know, they got this ISIS light, Al Qaeda light. Yeah,
They got
but
a
wait a few
kinder,
weeks.
gentler
Let's see.
jihad end.
Yeah,
I'm so glad.
Let's find out in a few weeks. Yeah,
That's what I was wondering. What's going to fill the void in Syria? That's
Steve, what you were saying, Yasser Arafat, okay, even though he was an inept, incompetent, complete failure as a leader, okay, he was still good to the Christians. Bethlehem was 90% Christian, right? Or 80% Christian.
80%, yeah.
Yeah, now forget about it. It ain't happening, okay? I'm just saying, you have two types of leaders. There are no good solutions in this region until they go through it, okay? In other words, their growth has been stunted, okay? But until they realize, hey, killing each other over religion is not a good thing. We just kill ourselves, okay? We destroy ourselves. Fine, have your religion. Fine, have your faith. Fine, have your traditions. As long as those traditions and those faiths do not include human sacrifice, chopping off heads, cutting out hearts, throwing people down. You know what I mean? No, we're good. We can get along, okay? The problem is, in Islam, you need a brutal dictator to beat that down and beat that out of them until they sit there and say, yeah, this ain't working. You know what I mean?
Okay, can we close it up for the night?
All right.
Did you guys?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Eric, for allowing me to ask the question.
Yep, I love you guys. So it's not a problem.
Let's have with something positive. That was real negative to me. Let's have with something positive.
How about
Donald Trump will be president on January 20th. Let's end with something positive.
I was going to go.
Yes. January 20th, Donald Trump will be president of the United States of America.
I thought it was pretty cool to see the reopening of the Church of Notre Dame. That was great to see after the Muslims did in fact set the fire to burn it down, even though they won't admit it. So we will be back here next Monday at. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, hold on a second. Stop it, Capper. Next Monday. Oh yeah, next Monday. Yes, next Monday. We'll be back here at 5:30. If you guys have any topics that you want to talk about, go ahead and email me at ericthecafer@gmail.com. And I am always one to entertain different thoughts. And like today's topic on Syria was from Rad. We were actually supposed to do a topic on doing Chat GGP and checking out the historicity of Islam and all that today, but I just wasn't up to it. That was brought up by Paul last week. But if you have any ideas, by all means, email me, and I'd be more than happy to set up a show and a stream to do it on the Cross the Crescent discussion group, because it is called a discussion group after all. All right, guys, thanks.
Bring your Muslim friends. We are Muslim lacking.
Yeah, I got a debate. Stefania reached out to me about a debate. She hasn't. I responded to it, and she hasn't gotten back. And so we'll see about doing that. All right, I'm going to end the stream, which means that we're going to go straight to the outro. Thanks for coming.
AC/DC.
We don't have AC/DC. Oh, I got a message. Hold on, just letting you know. Billy Joel and Rod Stewart are going to be doing a worldwide tour next year. Just saying. He's also doing one this year. So guess where this capper's going? Exactly.
That could be interesting.
I really like Billy Joel. I mean, he was class. All right, enough of that. I'm going. God bless y'all, and we'll see you next week.
Advanced student and specialist, that the standard narrative has holes. That's what
that the Muslims were rioting against one another. And as much as we don't want to face the fact, the Muslims were lying sometimes. They were fabricating, they were embellishing, and that might be hard to accept, but that is a reality.